Hello everyone, my name is Fernando, and today we are going to be talking about mega events and the sociocultural factors, impacts, and legacies of a well-known non-Spartan mega event, World Fairs, also called Expos. In one of the workshops of the module, we came up with many definitions for a mega event, such as a large-scale event that is also covered by media, a type of event that moves a lot of people and has a big impact on the economy, or a major event that could be a one-time or annual event which attracts a large amount of individuals with a significant interest internationally or globally. All of them are fine, but they need gather together in order to come up with a full definition. Ritchie and Jansu came up in 1987 with the first definition of mega event: major one-time or recurring events of limited duration which serve to enhance the awareness, appeal, and profitability of a tourist destination in the short and or long terms. Such events rely for their success on uniqueness, status, or timely significance to create interest and attract attention. This definition stated one of the four key dimensions necessary to identify a mega event: the visitor attractiveness. Jago and So determined it 11 years later as a one-time major event that is generally of an international scale, large-scale special event that is high in status or prestige and attracts a large crowd and wide media attention. They are expensive to states, attract funds to the region, lead to demand for associated services, and leave behind legacies. This definition, in addition to the other, settled other two key dimensions: media reach and cost. Hella, in 2000, said, a short-term, one-time, high-profile event. The mass media carries the event to the world. It has a significant and or permanent urban effect, resolving the last key dimension of the four, the urban transformation, which leads to urban regeneration in certain cases. These four main mega event key dimensions are used to decide if an event is mega or not. Mueller, 2016. They determine the outcomes of mega events. These are: visitor attractiveness. Some have suggested a minimum of 1 million visitors to make an event qualify as a mega event. Maris, 1987. But it is hard to measure due to the duration of the mega events differs between them. A good example of this could be the biggest World Expo on record, which is the World Expo 2010 in Shanghai, China, with 73 million people in 6 months, while the first one, the Crystal Palace exhibition in 1851, the number of visitors was 6 million. Media reach. An unmediated mega event will be a contradiction in terms. Horn, 2007. To follow a mega event, it is not necessary to travel and watch it in situ. Up until now, the widespread broadcasting of events has meant that the vast majority of those who watch an event do so in front of a screen. In the Expo of Sevilla 1992, 23,900 were journalists accredited by 8,500 companies. With that media coverage, they needed to develop, with the help of IBM, the first digital newspaper translated to Spanish, English, and French. The more expensive an event, the more stakeholders with diverse demands and subcontractors with parallel projects across different sectors, from catering to IT and security, need to be coordinated. Jennings, 2012. The cost of making a mega event goes between millions and billions. The Hanover Expo of 2000 had a cost of 1.6 billion of euros in order to modernize and expand the exhibition grounds and local mass transit. Urban transformation. A mega event must have a long-term consequences for the cities. Rose, 1994. Or a significant and or urban effect. Hilla, 2000. Some even go so far as to claim that mega events must affect whole economies. Gold and Gold, 2011. Others place an emphasis on the effects of mega events on the population of host cities. Gurso et al., 2002, Hilla, 2012. An event that does not intervene to a significant degree in its host city, region, or even country would thus not qualify as a mega event. The urban transformation developed on the Vancouver Expo of 1986 helped Vancouver to become one of the economy's world's most livable cities for over a decade and to develop a hub for the creative industries. Impacts and legacies. Both the words impacts and legacies definitions are usually mistaken and confusing. Impacts are often interpreted as meaning a negative impact or a harmful or destructive outcome, while legacies tend to be explained as a positive effect. The main difference between impacts and legacies is that impacts can be easily measurable in a quantitative or qualitative way, while legacies have longer effects and they are hard to measure. Preuss proposed that legacies can be defined as irrespective of the time of production. Legacy is all planned and unplanned, positive and negative, intangible and tangible structures created for and by a sport event that remains for a longer time than the event itself. Barkett and Guckett identified the long-term nature of legacy value as the satisfaction felt as a result of handing down a sporting event to future generations. One way of differentiating between impacts and legacy is in terms of the economic effects between short-term shocks in contrast to the economic legacy. Lee and Blake argue that tourism impacts tend to consider those brought about during the short-term event holding the period, whereas legacies need to consider tourists who arrive at a host country before and after the event as well as the holding period to assess. Expositions around the world exist to offer a look into the future. In 1876, Philadelphia Expo, the telephone was presented. In Paris, 1900, diesel engine was the new oh wow. Legacies. Some of the sociocultural legacies that the World Expos have left are: in 1889, Universal Expo in Paris, the Gateway Arc, it was called useless and monstrous. That tower nowadays is the main symbol of Paris, the Eiffel Tower. In 1962, Seattle held a fair that due to the modernity that it was incorporated and the builds surround that construction harmonized it in them. The organizers saw in there an opportunity to highlight the importance of the city and to revitalize the downtown. The organizers used this expo as an opportunity to leverage the benefits through a strategic planning, leading the facilities to be fully useful after the expo. The objective of this expo was leverage rehabilitation, and they reached it well enough. But not everything is good. In 1968, Hemisphere in San Antonio, there was a displacement of 1,600 people to other neighborhoods. 1,300 buildings were demolished. The Shanghai Expo, in spite of the greatness, they had left large number of buildings that proved useless after the event and were abandoned. Impacts. In addition to the legacies, which are the impacts of hosting a mega event in a country with longer effects, there are also sociocultural impacts in three different scales: local, national, and global. Local impacts in the Expo can be seen in example with the Milano Expo of 2015, which created more than 80,000 short and long-term jobs directly and indirectly from the Expo. National impacts in the Seville Expo of 1992, with millions of tourists came to not only Seville, different points of the geographical landscape drawn by the gastronomy, people, environment, and history. In addition, the first Spanish high-speed line AVE was inaugurated to make it easier for travelers to arrive in Seville. Global impacts like the Milan Charter, which establishes values and goals in the areas of nutrition, sustainability, and the universal right to food, was born out of the Expo 2015. The Charter was presented to UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, after being proposed by the Italian government in collaboration with civil society actors. In addition, mayors from over 100 cities around the world signed the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. The FAO-backed pact encourages cities to build safe and balanced food systems while also encouraging biodiversity and waste reduction. Expos, among the many events that cities can host to meet their needs, provide a unique combination of a global event that also has many benefits for urban development if used properly. The Expo format allows for a significant versatility in using the event to support the future region, making it an experiment in growth rather than an ephemeral festival. The emphasis should still be on legacy-oriented preparation for the region, using Expo as a platform for both recognition and reputation, but also improving the host city's built environment and human talents. With careful preparation, a host city should be able to meet the long-term needs for its inhabitants as well as the short-term demands of a global case.